Welcome, Ananya. It's so good to hear that you're doing so well at Delhi University. It's also really interesting to look at the excitement and enthusiasm you have toward research. And I know Delhi University doesn't really have a fairly clear pedagogical approach towards teaching research skills. So, how did you land such coveted sort of research internships like the one at the Council on Energy and Environment and Water, and the other things you might have done? So, tell us more about, and also share information with listeners who are in university as to what they could do, go deeper into research, and use whatever resources they have to learn how to find the right question and sort of build out their thesis and do the sort of and demonstrate their findings on paper. So go ahead, tell us more.
Definitely. So I'd say the most important thing that I've learned is right that if there are people who are seeking for opportunities, then you will find opportunities available. You just have to be looking for it, and it's actually really funny that I got the internship on Council on Energy, Environment, and Water, a place where I spent 6 months through cold emailing, through reaching out to think tanks in India, CPR, CCS, all of these working, doing great stuff, ORF, who are doing great stuff in the policy sphere. And one person at the council was gracious enough to respond. And what is important, I think, while you're reaching out, cold emailing does work, is you show yourself as a person who's extremely keen to learn. I do not have any background in technical sciences. I didn't understand anything from the climate sector as well. That's something I had absolutely no experience in. But demonstrating that interest and that passion to learn was important for me. I think that is what they saw. Another thing why I believe that it was so extremely life changing for me was because CEEW was an extremely quantitative, research oriented internship where I had to do impact evaluation, which is an extremely statistical sort of discipline, right? And do that on an awareness campaign that they had conducted. And this is me applying during my first year, which means that I've had no professional training in statistics, no professional training in econometrics. And the interview was extremely funny because they asked me, do you know statistics? Not really, I've never learned it. Do you know anything about the climate? I'm interested, but I actually don't know anything about it. But it was that zeal and that passion to learn that I think they identified, and which is why I spent 6 months. My contract was renewed 3 times during that particular internship because I was doing such a great job that they were like, Ananya, this project is now your baby, you handle it. And that is the sort of learning curve I had there in terms of being open to learning, putting in that effort, and also people recognizing that if you're putting in the hard work, you will get the work. So that is definitely there. So in terms of understanding workplace ethics, I also think that CW is an absolutely great place to work because they didn't treat me as the youngest person who was working in their entire office, but I was someone who chaired their weekly meetings, who gave presentations during team meetings, and telling them what my work was. So I always got the credit and for the effort that I was putting in there, but that is with respect to my quantitative research skills, and that is what taught me how to even go about it, how to do things like literature review, how to ensure that you're looking at credible resources, how to read and go through 30-40 page journals, like it's something that you can do on a daily basis, right? All of these things, I think the more you do, the more you learn. And so that was an extremely important experience for me. In terms of qualitative research, while I've had limited exposure there, I was at Ashoka's Center for Social and Behavior Change, which is essentially a very behavior oriented center. They do a lot of social studies and qualitative analysis. So, taking interviews from people and understanding what are themes and analysis that are coming out of it. And I spent approximately a month there. And again, they were also people who were extremely keen to teach. And I was allowed, I had to get a certification to actually conduct human research interviews, human subject interviews, because you need to ensure consent and all of these things. But then understanding thematic analysis, right? Even if you're taking interview, you don't always need data to understand what is happening around you. Sometimes it is how people responded to certain questions, what was the tone while they responded to certain questions, or understanding gender norms, social norms, their own characteristics. So that is also an exposure I got. And all of these learnings was outside college, was through my own sort of motivation to reach out to people. So I think the more people are reaching out, if they're interested in it, reaching out through LinkedIn, just asking people if there's an opportunity available, I think you get it, as long as you're showing that passion that, okay, I will put in extra effort, but teach me and I'll be molded according to your needs.
So it is great knowing about how you sort of kind of charted your own path and developed skills in both quantitative and qualitative research. Doing a 6-month internship at a organization like CEEW is a big deal, and I think for a first year student. So really, congratulations. So looking forward to inviting you to some of our Invisible Hand, which is an economics club, which our students run, and maybe have you at a panel to talk about climate and behavioral sort of research, which could be related to that. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.